Have you ever found yourself wondering if that woman is really interested in you, or if it's just your imagination? The signs may be right there in front of you, but misinterpreting them can lead to awkward moments or even make you miss a unique opportunity. When a woman is genuinely interested in an immediate relationship, she leaves subtle clues that often go unnoticed. And it's not by chance. These signals are part of a complex communication system that has evolved over thousands of years. Today, I will show you exactly how to identify these signs accurately, avoiding that cruel doubt that everyone has felt. You will learn to read between the lines and gain the confidence needed to take the next step at the right moment. The tone of voice carries much more information than simple words. When a woman is truly interested, her vocal communication undergoes subtle and fascinating transformations. Imagine a conversation where your interlocutor completely modifies her tone, making it softer, closer, and more engaging. This is no coincidence, but an unmistakable sign of attraction. The psychology behind this vocal change is incredible. Unconsciously, when a woman is romantically interested, her brain releases neurotransmitters that directly affect her communication. Her voice becomes more melodious, with variations in tone that invite intimacy. It's not just what she says, but how she says it that reveals her true intentions. Pay close attention to the nuances: a prolonged laugh, a closer intonation, strategic pauses that create anticipation. These details do not occur by chance. They are ancestral biological signals of connection and interest. When a woman wants to establish a deep connection, her voice transforms into a subtle instrument of seduction. Observe the context carefully. Does she speak to you differently than she interacts with friends or colleagues? If you notice a clear distinction, you are likely facing a genuine sign of interest. Vocal modulation can reveal vulnerability, complicity, and a desire to build a connection beyond superficiality. It's not just about listening, but about interpreting. Each variation in tone represents a layer of nonverbal communication rich in meaning. A voice that seeks proximity, that delicately adjusts to your conversational rhythm, may be the first indication of true attraction. Behavioral scientists confirm vocal communication transcends words. It is a complex code laden with emotions and intentions. When a woman is interested, her voice becomes a bridge between unconscious desire and the conscious manifestation of romantic interest. Therefore, sharpen your senses. Don't limit yourself to what is said, but pay attention to how it is said. Vocal modulation can be the most powerful secret to understanding someone's true feelings. A fascinating discovery that can completely transform the way you interpret romantic interactions. The dedicated attention a woman offers can be one of the most powerful signs of romantic interest, revealing much more than words can express. When a woman truly cares, her way of dedicating time and energy changes completely, creating a special connection that is distinguishable from other social interactions. Observing how she interacts in different contexts becomes fundamental to understanding her real intentions. While with friends or colleagues, the treatment may be more generic and superficial, with someone she has genuine interest in, her approach becomes completely personalized and careful. Acts of affection manifest in subtle and significant ways. Remembering important dates, small details from previous conversations, or offering emotional support in specific moments are unmistakable indicators that there is something beyond a simple friendship. Each gesture demonstrates an emotional investment that transcends common cordiality. This special attention does not merely represent momentary interest. It indicates a deep emotional and mental compatibility. When a woman connects truly, she seeks to understand not only what you say, but what is behind the words. Her comments will be more reflective, her questions deeper, creating an atmosphere of complicity and intimacy. Dedication also reveals itself in the quality of the shared time. She will be fully present, without distractions from her phone or wandering thoughts. Her focus will be genuine, demonstrating a real interest in building a significant connection. Small revealing gestures can happen constantly. A longer smile, attentive listening, a willingness to help even when it isn't convenient. These micro moments together outline a complex picture of interest and potential romantic connection. Dedicated attention functions as a silent language, communicating desires and intentions that words cannot always translate. It is a subtle invitation for closeness, an emotional communication channel that transcends the verbal and lays the groundwork for a potential intimate and meaningful relationship. Being attentive to these signs requires sensitivity and openness. It is not just about interpreting isolated gestures, but understanding the broader context of interactions, allowing true intent to reveal itself naturally, without pressure or artificial expectations. Acts of self-care reveal much more than just aesthetic concern. When a woman is genuinely interested, her personal preparation takes on subtle and strategic nuances of flirting. It is not just about wearing pretty clothes or makeup, but about creating nonverbal communication capable of sparking interest. Clothing choice becomes a silent language of seduction. Every detail is calculated. A discreet neckline, a piece that enhances her silhouette, accessories that subtly draw attention. They are unconscious signals that she wishes to be noticed, that she wants to establish a connection that goes beyond mere social cordiality. Body language accompanies this preparation. A lingering gaze, a smile that takes a second longer, more elegant and intentional movements. These gestures do not happen by chance. They are manifestations of an internal desire to highlight her femininity and attractiveness. Self-care rituals gain an almost performative dimension. The lipstick chosen carefully, the hair styled in a special way, a fragrance selected strategically. Each element functions as a subtle invitation, a delicate way of communicating interest without uttering a single word. It's important to observe how these gestures vary depending on the context. In a professional environment, they will be more discreet and subtle. In more relaxed social situations, they will gain more freedom and expressiveness. The key lies in the ability to perceive these nuances and understand their real intentions. Flirting through self-care is an ancient, almost instinctive art. It involves a complex, non-verbal communication that sparks interest and provokes curiosity. It is not about manipulation, but a genuine expression of the desire for connection and closeness. Authenticity remains the most attractive element. Forced or artificial gestures completely lose their seductive power. The true fascination lies in the naturalness with which these signs are manifested, revealing an internal confidence that transcends any external strategy. Thus, being attentive to these signs requires sensitivity and understanding. Each act of self-care can be a subtle invitation for closeness, a communication channel that transcends the verbal and lays the foundations for a potential intimate and meaningful connection. Physical contact carries a complex language rich in meanings that transcend simple accidental touches. When a woman is really interested, these contacts take on an almost strategic dimension of communication, revealing profound intentions and desires that are not always verbalized. The psychology behind these gestures is fascinating. Each touch transforms into a subtle code of approach, where boundaries are tested and interests are signaled. A brush of a hand during a conversation, a touch on the arm when laughing at a joke, a discreet adjustment of her clothing. Each gesture carries an intentionality that goes far beyond the accidental. Understanding this language requires sensitivity and attention to contexts. The same touch that may signify interest in one environment can be completely inappropriate in another. Culture, the moment, and prior intimacy are fundamental elements for correctly interpreting these physical approaches. The line between friendly and romantic contact is delicate and needs to be navigated carefully. Very close gestures may indicate attraction, but they may also represent merely a profound friendship connection. The key is in carefully observing the details, the duration of the touch, the way it is performed, the subsequent bodily reaction. It is important to emphasize that respect must always be a priority. Even in the face of clear signs of interest, it is essential to be attentive to the other's limits. Physical contact should always be consensual and comfortable for both parties. The ability to perceive and respect these boundaries reveals emotional maturity and genuine interest. There are universal gestures in this nonverbal communication. A soft touch on the forearm during a serious conversation, a hand brushing that seems accidental but is strategically calculated. They are micro-actions that function as true invitations for a more intimate approach. The response to these touches also communicates a lot. How do you react? With tension, openness, reciprocity? Your complementary body language may reveal your own feelings and interests, establishing a silent dialogue full of romantic possibilities. Thus, subtle physical contacts function as a delicate dance of approach. They are complex communications that convey desires, test emotional grounds, and subtly invite a deeper connection, revealing layers of interest that words could never express. So precisely. The digital world has completely transformed the way we communicate and establish romantic connections. Social networks and messaging apps have created a new territory for flirting, where each interaction can carry profound and complex meanings. Online communication has brought layers of nuances that go far beyond a simple exchange of messages. The frequency, the response time, and the content of conversations are true secret codes of interest. When a woman is genuinely interested, her digital communication patterns change subtly. Response time, for example, becomes a fascinating indicator. Quick replies, but not instant ones, demonstrate calculated interest. She doesn't want to seem desperate, but she also doesn't want to keep you waiting indefinitely. It's like a delicate digital dance, where each message is strategically thought out. The content of conversations gains depth. They are not just generic messages or monosyllabic responses. Dialogues become longer, with elaborate questions, references to previous conversations, and a genuine interest in exploring your thoughts, dreams, and perspectives. Emojis, memes, and stickers also function as a flirting language. The specific choice of these elements communicates much more than it seems. A winking emoji, a specific meme, a loving sticker, all can be subtle. Invitations for a more intimate approach. Social media becomes a stage for interest. Strategic likes on old posts, significant comments, shares that demonstrate a connection of interests. Each online action can be a sign that she is building a bridge for closeness. Stories and posts also reveal much. What she shares, when she shares, and how she interacts with your posts are important signals. An interested woman will invariably create digital connection points, seeking to establish communication that transcends the virtual. Private messages take on tones of intimacy. More personal topics, confidences, sharing intimate moments, all indicate a search for profound connection. Online communication becomes a territory for building complicity and genuine interest. Therefore, navigating the digital universe requires sensitivity and attention to detail. Every message, every interaction can be a subtle invitation for a romantic approach, revealing layers of interest that go beyond the superficiality of screens. Body language reveals a fascinating universe of nonverbal communication, especially when it comes to attraction. Imagine a secret code where every movement, every posture tells an entire story without pronouncing a single word. When a woman is truly interested, her body transforms into a real instrument of communication, revealing desires and intentions in absolutely surprising ways. The signals begin with open and receptive postures. Unlike a defensive or closed position, she is oriented completely toward you, keeping her shoulders aligned, her body slightly leaning forward as if creating a silent invitation for closeness. This physical alignment does not happen by chance. It is an ancestral biological signal of interest and availability. Eye contact takes on almost magnetic tones. These are not just quick, fleeting glances, but prolonged observation, rich with meaning. Her eyes shine with a different intensity, alternating between moments of direct contact and small diversions that create a seductive visual dance. Each look transforms into a mute dialogue, where complicity and desire intertwine subtly. Facial expressions become true emotional maps, a genuine smile that reaches the eyes, small muscular variations that reveal micro-expressions of interest. When she laughs, the movements are broader, more relaxed. Her face opens up into a landscape of emotions where every muscle tells a story of possible connection. Body movements gain an almost choreographed fluidity. Gestures become softer, more intentional. She might discreetly adjust a strand of hair, lightly touch her neck or wrist. These are subtle signs that function as true invitations for a more intimate approach. Physical proximity becomes another revealing element. Even in social settings, she will find ways to minimize the distance between you. A step closer, a light brush during a conversation, movements that seem accidental but are strategically calculated to create intimacy. Her breathing also changes. Faster rhythms, small pauses filled with expectation. The body speaks long before any words are pronounced. These are subtle signals, almost imperceptible to those who are not attentive, but absolutely eloquent too. Trained eyes that understand this complex, nonverbal language. Deciding to take the first step in a relationship can be a real strategic challenge. Timing is not merely a matter of courage, but a complex evaluation of contexts, signals, and possibilities. Each moment calls for a unique approach, like an emotional chess game where every move needs to be calculated with precision and sensitivity. Evaluating the right moment means reading beyond what is visible. It is not enough to notice signs of interest. It is essential to understand the specific social dynamics of the moment. An invitation in a professional environment will require a completely different approach than a relaxed happy hour or social event. A woman's personality will be your greatest guide in this decision. More introverted women may prefer more subtle and indirect approaches, while extroverted ones may appreciate a direct and casual approach. Your ability to perceive these nuances will determine the success of your endeavor. Invitations can vary from casual to formal. A request to grab coffee may work perfectly in some contexts, while in others, an invitation for a shared activity, like visiting an exhibition or attending a cultural event, might be more suitable. The key lies in personalization and genuine connection. The environment will also dictate the rules of this approach. In a professional context, more discretion and subtlety will be necessary. In more relaxed social settings, you will have more freedom to express interest more explicitly. Understanding these variables is fundamental to avoid missteps. Rejection, often feared, should be seen as a natural part of the romantic connection process. Each no does not represent a failure, but a learning opportunity. True emotional maturity lies in accepting that not all connections develop as planned. It's essential to maintain authenticity throughout the approach. Pretending to be something you are not, or creating artificial strategies will quickly be perceived as manipulation. Transparency, combined with respect and sensitivity, will always be the best path to establish any significant connection. The courage to take the first step does not mean being impulsive, but rather being strategically vulnerable. Exposing. Your feelings and interest requires a delicate combination of confidence, respect, and openness to the possibilities that may arise. The journey of unraveling the signs of romantic interest comes to a close, but the true learning has only just begun. Each sign, each gesture, each shared look does not represent an ending point, but an invitation to a story yet to be written. The clues we've explored are not absolute rules, but precious insights for navigating the complex universe of relationships. I invite you to reflect on your own experiences, to observe with more sensitivity the interactions around you. Share your stories, your discoveries, your lessons. Human connection is a constant dance of discoveries and surprises. where each encounter can transform into a unique and transformative experience.